Somatic therapy changed my life. Dani, we remember everything that I was going through when I was trying to figure out solutions. I was trying to figure out what would actually help me to manage my anxiety, what would actually help me when I felt so irritated and frustrated and angry. What were those things that I could actually turn to? Because, a lot of the time when we're going through stress in our lives, and it's from many different things, work, it can be from relationships, it can be from family, so many different areas of our life. If we don't know how to manage it, it can get very overwhelming very quickly. And if you're new here, you probably haven't heard me talk about this, but if you're a previous client or currently, you know that I talk about the buckets of life. And a lot of the times we put all of the things that we're dealing with into one bucket. And it means that it's stirred all together. There's no way to really pull different things out and put them in different buckets to know what to even work on first, to know what to even navigate first. And so when I was really struggling with myself and I was struggling in my relationships and I was ruining and self-sabotaging every single thing in my life, I needed something because I was going to ruin it all. And I'll never forget, I came across somatic attachment therapy. And somatic attachment therapy really pairs together two different things. One, the working with the body, and two, attachment. And a lot of the theory around attachment is that it goes a lot back into how we grew up around our caregivers, our teachers, our people around us, whoever it may have been. These relationships have all had a lasting impact on us in some way, shape, or form, and has shaped how we show up in our relationships today. So with those two together, we hear and find out that there's so much within the body that is living within us and is playing out in our adult lives. So let me give you an example. Let's just say that you run a little bit more anxious and you get into a relationship and you're in this relationship and things are going smooth, things are going good, maybe they're going a little fast, whatever it may be. And then you notice all of a sudden that this person kind of falls off and the texting pattern changes. They don't reply as much, you don't hear from them as much, and you notice that your mind starts to go and you start thinking, what did I do? Did I say the wrong thing? Maybe you impulsively feel like you want to text and send 20 messages and say, what's going on? I haven't heard from you. And your body is just freaking out. And your chest feels tight and your stomach hurts and you feel anxiety all over, and it ruins your work day and it ruins all the things. It starts to pour into all these areas. Well, the cool thing about somatics is that there may have been a point in time when you were growing up or when you were experiencing other kinds of relationships where you felt anxious or you felt like maybe you were left behind or there was something that, didn't feel super secure. And so your body recognized that in fight or flight mode. It went into that state of like full on gas and it stayed there because you may not have had the strategies to cope and work through it. And you just had to put a smile on your face or work through it or do whatever it was and never really focus on that feeling and sensation. And so when that situation happened again in maybe a different format, like this texting situation, it all blew up. It all came to the surface again. What somatic attachment therapy does is works with those sensations in your body so that you know how to become your own investigator, your own little person that's going to go in there and look at all the mapping of your body, your chest, your stomach, your legs, your feet, and say, where am I feeling uncomfortable sensations, and understand how to work with it and know how to move ease and peace and comfort back into your body so that you can soothe yourself rather than, responding with 100 texts that, show that you're freaking out and you don't know what's happening and letting your mind spiral into all these thoughts that you're not good enough. It's really important and it's so life-changing. So for me specifically, and I know I'm kind of going on here and you can definitely share your own experience with somatics, Dani, but for me, it was really helpful to know how to deal with being alone and be just by myself and to sit with these different uncomfortable sensations instead of always running away from them by distracting myself with, going out with other people, being in relationships. I mean, we could go on and on, right? There's so many different distractions like TV and many things, working, workaholics, right? All the different things. And so when we are able to cope in these ways, it regulates our nervous system and we're able to manually reset how we're feeling in our body. And it can become a practice. It can become a part of your daily routine. And when we're dysregulated, a lot of things feel out of whack and a lot of things feel overwhelming and a lot of things feel very confusing. So that's a little bit of somatic attachment therapy and a little bit of an example. But what we've taken is that we've seen that there's so many LGBTQ plus adults that struggle with healthy queer relationships. And so we took this methodology, this format, and I'm a somatic attachment therapist myself, and we incorporated it into this framework that Dani created long time ago that we've adjusted and shifted in so many ways after working with thousands of queer adults across the world. It's called the Pride Method. Don't forget that. Maybe write that down if you have a pen or journal around you. It's called the Pride Method. Basically, we take you through this journey of prioritizing yourself, releasing all of these unrealistic expectations that you've made yourself fit into. We take you through identifying how to feel these feelings safely. That's another part when you're feeling them. That somatic part. How do you move into your body safely without re-traumatizing yourself? And then the D, how do you develop that loving and deep connected relationship with yourself? And the last one, E of the Pride Method, is exploring and healing in aligned relationships and going out there and living your life with all of these new tools that you have. So there's so many different tools in there that are so amazing to help you create better relationships, have a happier, healthier life, love yourself even more than you do, and really pour into things that you're passionate about. It opens up so much room, and we put that in the Pride Method. So we just actually made that available as a course, which could be so helpful for you if you're someone that's like, I need a framework. I want to dive all in for the next 6 weeks. I want to get up a little extra early and spend an hour a week on this framework. This would be such a perfect course for you to dive into because it's so helpful and literally has changed so many lives around the world. We incorporate it in our retreats and the events that we do, and people just can't get enough of it. So definitely go check it out for sure, for a way more in-depth version of this. But it's been so life-changing, in our relationship. And I'd love to kind of hear your perspective of how you felt like things have changed between us and what's changed for you with having grounding techniques to come back to and really be in your body.
Yeah, I think the thing that I would say about all of the Pride Method and incorporating the mind-body techniques of somatic therapy, the thing that I've seen just happen because, we used it, we created it from our own experiences, and because of all of the people that we've worked with who are queer adults, regardless of if they claim to be, like avoidant or, anxious, like whichever lane they feel like they fall under, I've just seen that it's because they're more in tune with how they feel instead of pushing everything away. That has been the number one thing that's helped people really grow. And I think they've had more control over themselves and their emotions. And that's something that not many of us have really been taught or understood from a very early age. A lot of the people who have gone through the Pride Method, have gone through all the programs that we've created, really come from backgrounds of not feeling accepted by society or by their families or by themselves because of all those different things. And so these different practices really just help people cultivate that confidence and that authenticity that even beyond coming out, because many of the people that we've worked with in these different programs, they've already come out, but there's this other layer of vulnerability that they haven't been able to reach and tap into yet. And so doing these mind-body techniques really just repair that relationship with themselves, so they're able to take themselves to a whole other level and create healthier relationships with other people. And I think that's really what this is all about. It's not just about, feeling good about your sexuality or your gender, but really just stepping into the person that you want to become. And that's really the magic of somatic therapy.
Yeah, and a lot of people too, they are maybe already working with a therapist. This could be you yourself, where you're working with a therapist and you're mostly using the modality of talk therapy, and you're talking a lot about the different things that you're going through, but you may need this added layer of support, and it could be really helpful for you to have this, because it's life-changing to have many different resources. I mean, I think for queer people in general, like, we're always figuring out non-traditional ways to live our lives and do different things. And I think when we look at things may not always work for us as they may work for everyone else. And actually, if you look at a lot of studies, they show that you can't just do talk therapy in order to really heal and move through things.
And it's definitely a helpful part of the journey to figure out who you are, who you want to become, but it's not the complete approach to really creating the life and relationships that you want. And we've seen it with so many studies that we've done. Because
you have to work with your body. Your body's going to be nervous, anxious. It's going to show up. And when you're doing somatic therapy, a lot of what we do in the Pride method is work with the breath, work with calming the nervous system, coming back in, showing you different techniques to kind of go back and forth within your own body to create that regulation. And it's beautiful. It is so amazing. I have an event tomorrow night that we're working with queer adults from all over here in San Diego, and I'm going to be doing this by the beach. It's going to be beautiful with that water element, the nature, and I'm just really excited to be in person with people and show them this modality. But it's so cool to experience it. So definitely check out the course. Dani will link it here. That way you can really look at it and see if it would be a good fit for you. And if you have questions about it too, please let us know. We've seen hundreds of people go through this, and it's just so beautiful to watch the transformation. So definitely something that can really support you and help you in your journey. But yeah, I love what we're doing with somatic therapy. I love getting the message out there about it. I want more and more people to know how helpful it can be, and just for you to feel relief and happiness in your life, regardless of what you're going through. If you have tried a bunch of things and you're looking for something else and you're willing to give it a try and you're open, I promise you're going to love just working with your body and your breath. And it's so cool. So yeah, I love it. I love it so much. It changed my life, and I would not be the person I am today without it. That's for sure.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast episode, everyone.
Thank you so much. We loved having you. We're super excited that you keep coming back and listening. And let us know what part of this episode stuck out to you, or if there's a favorite episode that you just recently listened to. Send us a message on Instagram. We love hearing from you. So we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening.